Now, I
Facts.
will say that I think that being in the Twitter X community, I am pretty, knowledgeable of what goes on. I mean, I tweet 15, 20 times a day. I have, thousands of tweets. I don't think in all of the time being on this particular social media platform did I ever once see Xbox gamers rallying together to try and get a PlayStation game like, I don't know, Spider-Man onto the Xbox. Like, I've never seen that happen. And if I missed it, then it must be a very small number, because what most of us do when we want to play a game that's on Switch or on PlayStation that is first party, we do what adult gamers do. We go out and we purchase said system and we play said game, and we like it or we don't, but we support it and we get a chance to play. We never sit down and port beg about, oh, what's coming to the PlayStation or coming to the Nintendo Switch. Now, granted, even though it's a rumor, it's what stokes these fires. So, of course, these four games get announced. Obviously, it's Aria, which is going to PC first. You have Avowed, which is already announced, but we're getting a big update on it. Obviously, Hellblade 2 is going to show in its best way ever. We're going to get a release date more than likely. I don't think it's a shadow drop, but it's obviously going to be out in the first couple of months of the year. At least it seems that way, because based on what we saw at the Game Awards, the game looks done, right? And of course, the big
Facts.
surprise, the huge surprise of the conversation is Indiana Jones. And of course, with that being announced, now we're starting to see the port begging. Why can't I get this on my console? Or yes, it's coming because of this rumor. Folks, I'm here to tell you, Aaron Greenberg said it best. And I think he did it in a very walk silently and carry a very big knucklehead stick, right? In the tweet, saying, hey, listen, we can't wait to see you next Thursday. Time to get excited. Coming to Xbox and PC and Game Pass. I think it was pretty apparent. I don't
Facts.
understand the disconnect. I don't understand why people are hoping and praying that these games come to your console. I just want to say, hashtag stop begging. Hashtag buy an effing Xbox. I don't know what else to say.
How's it going, everyone? Welcome back to another video, and as you can see here, that is pretty much the current dilemma that is going on within the Xbox, well, the PlayStation community right now. And a lot of this is basically due to the fact that the messaging that has come from Xbox and their silence about the topic has actually been it's been complete silence, no comment, and they are allowing the community to run wild. There's a lot of comments going out talking about, the fact that, console wars are for no one. When Microsoft was the one that was pushing console wars to begin with, they were the ones that were bigging it up, pushing it, encouraging it. Now, I'm not saying this has, and that's the worst part about this. I'm seeing a lot of people talking about this because it's console wars this and console wars that, when in actual fact, it has nothing to do with the console wars. I think what Boomstick actually said here is absolutely correct. It is 100% correct. But the one point he didn't get at was, or at least in this clip, was that it's got nothing to do with the console wars. Whether the game appears on a different platform or not isn't the issue here. The issue is that the 22 or 25 million Xbox gamers out there who have bought the console, the moment these games start to appear on another platform, the reason to buy these games diminish. The reason to buy an Xbox, to be perfectly clear, diminishes. And the one thing we don't want is that. Now, I know you're going to get a bunch of you out there that are going to say, well, when everyone plays, we all win. But for some reason, it's not everyone. See, if Sony was doing this and Nintendo was doing this, then it really wouldn't be a problem. If they were giving the odd few games here and they were giving the odd few games and then Microsoft was giving the odd few games. But the fact is, Microsoft is already giving a bunch of games, right? The next Diablo that comes along isn't going to be Xbox exclusive. It's going to be on all platforms. The next COD that comes along isn't going to be Xbox exclusive. It's going to be on all platforms. If an Overwatch 3 got announced today, it's going to be on all platforms. So, it's not like Microsoft isn't giving anything away. The next expansion to Fallout 76 is going to be on PlayStation. The next Minecraft rendition of a game, whether it's Legends or whatever, is going to be on PlayStation. So there's a long line of games that are already on there. But the ones that stand out should remain on the Xbox platform to give reason for people to either sign up to Game Pass or leave it on Xbox. Don't give it away. Now, that is the current issue that people are talking about. And this is kind of gone way crazy. I am seeing LForge now begging for games like Halo and Sea of Thieves, and then he goes on in another state to completely crap on Sea of Thieves. It's getting really bad out there with how much these PlayStation fanatics are actually begging for Xbox games. And like I said originally, it's got nothing to do with the fact that console wars is there or whatnot. And I think Microsoft saying that, they're just looking for a cheap exit. They know exactly what they're doing, and they are going for the quick buck over the long game. And to be fair, Game Pass was a long game. The whole Activision Blizzard thing, they got strapped in for a long game. Everything is a long game. It's not like they're a small indie company that can't afford it. They're a $1 trillion company. For a brief moment, they were the richest company in the world before Apple overtook them again. So where this actually stands is quite bad because it diminishes. And remember how I was saying that third-party publishers need a reason to release their games on your platform. Well, we're going to get to that in just a bit, but I wanted to look at this as well. Xbox Era, which I guess is a very pro Xbox publication, says rumors of putting a few console exclusive games on PlayStation and Nintendo has caused an uproar for some members of Xbox community. Unfortunately, if you belong to this group, Xbox doesn't care about your console wars. Again, Xbox Era are so stupid that they can't see past their own arrogance and ignorance, and they're telling everyone, hey, check out my article and check out my video, when they literally have no clue what they're talking about. This is what the issue is. I'm more concerned about the fact that you think this has anything to do with the console wars, especially as a Xbox-centric website. Here is an example of what not selling consoles does, and yes, your first response is going to be, who wants those titles? But it's not about those titles. It's about games that will continue to not come to Xbox from third-party publishers. The bigger picture here is the issue, not your so-called console wars. And now if we click on this, you'll see that now Konami is skipping Xbox for digital-only ports of 8 and 16-bit Felix the Cat and Rock Knight games. Sad state of affairs. Now if we're looking at this entirely, this game, okay, the 8-bit, 16-bit, this is actually available on Xbox right now, the older version, not the redone up version. And, it's getting a re-release, but it's being skipped on Xbox. And the only possible reason for this is because the market is too small. And this will continue to happen unless Microsoft money hats the games. And we've all seen that Microsoft isn't prepared to do that. So as an Xbox owner, your games eventually will continue to diminish as third-party companies continue to skip. This is the big issue with giving games out. It's not so much the issue console wars. It's not so much the issue of going away and, saying, hey, there's only a couple of crap games here that's not getting ported. Who cares? No, you got to look at the bigger picture. Everything starts bit by bit. There's a reason why even now it's easier for Sony to get third-party exclusives than it is for Microsoft. Microsoft still has to pay above the line in order to get them. This is the issue. And this is, by, Boom saying, if you want to play these games, buy an Xbox. and I know the meme is there, but really that is what Phil should be pushing. He needs to push those consoles. I know the console is kind of like dropping down the pecking order, but as third-party publishers start to see one market continuously growing, especially the Switch and PlayStation 5, Xbox isn't. And There's been no real push in Japan either. I mean, well, that's a lie. There has been a push, but just not enough. Now we hope this new person is actually who's signed on is actually going to do stuff. That's going to take time. Everything takes time. But does Microsoft really need those extra sales? Does Microsoft really need that extra bit of money? Now, my original point was this is all about FTC, and it very well could be. And if it is, then that's a different strategy entirely, and they will never come out and say that. It will always go as something that's going to be the unspoken truth. And honestly, I genuinely do believe that this whole thing is about the FTC, because Microsoft wants to do more acquisitions and they want to show strategically that they are giving certain games to their rival publications, rival competitors, in order to show it's fair game. But there's no communication back and forth. And maybe this is, again, in Microsoft's overall plan. Maybe this is something that they want to use going forward as ammunition to say, look, we've been fair. We've given our cloud away. We've given these games to rival platforms. We've actually put a ton of games on rival platforms. What have they given us in return? Nothing but money and exclusives. So maybe this is the strategy of trying to water down the legal battle to the point where the FTC literally has no grounds to step on. But this is the issue that Xbox gamers are scared of. But, it's the main issue here. And as you can see, are you telling me that these games can't be ported over to the Xbox? Okay, look, like I said, they're not graphically amazing games. They are NES and Game Boy games. But the bottom line is it's not about these games. It's about future games. And others will continue to do it. We've already seen Falcom, who have basically turned around and said that they're making games for PlayStation and Switch because they're the biggest market, and they can't risk making games for Xbox because of how small the market is. That's another third-party studio that's left the building and off they go. That's it. They're gone. They're not making games for Xbox. Now, I want Xbox to be in a position where when third-party companies turn around and say, hey, let's make a game, Xbox is the first company that rolls off their tongue. Because as an Xbox gamer myself, I want games on Xbox. Don't get me wrong. If you're a multiplat gamer like me, in the grand scheme of things, it doesn't really matter. Because I can play it on PlayStation, I can play it on Xbox, on the Switch, or my PC. Regardless of how I want to play it, I've got the full catalog available for me to play it wherever I want. But there are so many people out there who aren't as fortunate as me, who cannot afford to buy multiple consoles, who have decided through the Xbox One to stick with them, and through the Series X, now that it's their time with all these acquisitions where they want to be rewarded, instead of actually focusing on the things that matter to the Xbox gamers. And obviously Microsoft's is a business, right? They're going to want to make money. But by diminishing the value of the console, this is not the way. Now, eventually everything is going to go to the cloud, right? Consoles are going to be a very small medium in the grand scheme of things, if not disappear entirely. We're not there yet. And with the news of Xbox, coming in 2026, all Microsoft is doing here is turning around to the Xbox fan base and saying, hey, we're going to release a console, but we're not going to care about it. And that's the wrong message to be sending out right now. And obviously the PlayStation, fanboys, the ponies are fanning the flames even more, riling it up with their Blade is now coming to PlayStation. Hellblade 2 will be coming to PlayStation. I don't need to buy an Xbox because your overlords have turned around and said that games are coming to PlayStation, so we'll just wait a year and let it come to PlayStation and play it on our platform. And how is that helping the consoles? How is that helping the market share? It's not doing anything. I don't know. To me, it's just weird. But all this talk about it being, console wars? No. We're actually going back to the original point of the FTC here during the FTC trial. How, Microsoft buying Activision Blizzard and King would cause harm to the console. Well, in actual fact, that harm is now being caused to Microsoft's console. How things have actually done a 180 and turned around and kicked Microsoft's own console in the ass, I don't know. I really can't imagine that Phil Spencer, Matt Booty, and Tim Stewart, all of these people are stupid. I can't imagine Sarah Bond is stupid. I just can't. Aaron Greenberg, none of these people are stupid. They paid a lot of money to make strategic decisions. So there has to be. I have to believe that there is a reason that they're doing this. Clearly, that reason will never be disclosed because I do believe it has a legal implication to it. I don't think that, they can ever come out and tell us. Now, there is one other thing that I do want to add here. I don't, we're seeing right now with PlayStation fans getting really excited that Starfield is one of the games coming over to PlayStation. The game that they were bashing, crapping on and saying it was rubbish, it was this and that. Yeah, now they're super excited that Starfield is coming to PlayStation. There's been no official announcement other than a couple of rumors, but there's words going around now that Starfield, there is a SKU already made that's ready. Colt Eastwood has also come out saying that he's heard from his sources. Whether you want to believe him or not is entirely up to you. I personally don't believe it, but apparently there's SKUs of multiple AAA games already ready to be released that are already on Xbox. So whether that materializes or not is anyone's guess, but I personally can't see the bigger games like Hellblade, Starfield ever going to any rival platform. I can see the smaller games, the AA games, I can see those going as a bargaining chip as Microsoft continues to try to increase their war chest, but not, the big console sellers. But even then, they are still, by putting those other games onto other platforms, especially games like Hi-Fi Rush, they are diminishing the value of the console. And I think it's a shame. I think it's a real shame because I do feel like there is a reason here, but the message being given out and whether Microsoft is in a position to say something or not is the worst, it's probably the most difficult part because I don't feel like they're in a position to be able to come out and actually give a real explanation because it would play their hand. And so I personally believe that there is a real strategic reason for this. It's got nothing to do with the console wars, and people being upset, like I said, are upset because their platform, their console of choice, will eventually start losing third-party games like these from Konami because, and I know it's limited run games, but it's still Konami's choice not to put it there, right? They didn't see the Xbox console as a big enough market to put it there. And that's the issue. That's what people are, concerned about. People love to game on the Xbox platform. People love to game on Xbox Series S or the Series X. I do personally. I enjoy gaming on all my consoles. But if companies are going to start skipping your platform, it doesn't give you the confidence to go and get the second one. Now, I know some of you in the comments are going to call me a pony. I really don't care at this point. If you really see me as a pony, just click on the unsubscribe and go away. Honestly, I've seen it quite a few times in the comment section now. I've responded to a few. This has nothing to do with that. I'm looking out for, I want what's best for the platform. And obviously, I'm just a gamer. I'm a content creator. I share my thoughts. I'm not paid the big bucks like Phil, Matt Booty, Aaron Greenberg, Tim Stewart, Sarah Bond are paid. I'm not paid that money. They're clearly, way above my pay grade. And they are obviously making these decisions strategically with a certain goal in mind. That goal will never be revealed because I do genuinely believe it is still FTC dependent, and with the pending court case still ongoing as the FTC is trying to get this actually, overturned, and you've got King Thrash over there still trying to champion the fact that the deal is going to get reversed without actually understanding the implications of what that would mean to business overall. I mean, that would be catastrophic if the powers that the FTC want which is basically them turning around and saying, if there is even a 1% chance that you could do that, we should be able to put a preliminary injunction in place. That means that every single merger going forward is never going to go through. Any big merger. Now, there's actually a company called Z in India. They're a massive multimedia company. Sony is doing a merger with them for $10 billion. Why isn't this being brought into, limelight? But the FTC is too focused on Microsoft. They're not even looking at the merger Sony's doing to, increase their overall strength. All they care about is stopping Microsoft because Joe Biden hates, Microsoft. That's no secret. He really doesn't like Microsoft. So he's doing everything he can. Once his administration is out, then you can see Lena Khan going out and this whole ordeal will pretty much be, pushed under the rug and it's going to be game over. But the bottom line still remains that if the consoles aren't selling, for all I know, you as a viewer right now might love this Felix the Cat game and want it on your Xbox and you can't have it. So that's the point. And going back to what Boom said at the beginning, the issue here isn't console wars. If you want to play Xbox games, buy an Xbox. A lot of people don't like Game Pass. That's fair enough. You don't have to buy Game Pass Ultimate. If you want to play online, you can just pay for the $60 a year and just get Xbox Live and you're done. No worries. Go buy every game that you want, be it digitally or physically. There'll be a version of it. Go out and buy it. But if you want to play Xbox games, buy an Xbox. And that's the problem. And that is what the community is saying. Not if you want to play Xbox games, go buy a PlayStation. That's sending out a very bad message to anyone that's considering buying an Xbox. Let me know what you think in the comment section below. Like I said, I agree with what Boom said. I also agree with the fact that Xbox Era is completely off touch, thinking it's a console wars thing. They made the article thinking it was a quick win. It's really not. They proved that they have literally no clue what they're talking about. There's clearly a strategic reasoning going on here for some of these games going on to multi-platform. We don't even know if it's true, by the way, but we're all going by the assumption that it is because Microsoft is staying tight-lipped. And we don't even know if it's even going to PlayStation. For all we know, it could just be going to Switch. But at the end of the day, the biggest harm to the console will come from the third-party games. And if you guys don't really care for third-party games and the overall Xbox community doesn't care for third-party games, then none of this even matters. It doesn't. But if you do, then this will eventually impact you. And that's my concern, because I don't want that to happen. Because I enjoy gaming, and I enjoy gaming on all platforms. And I feel like wherever you game, you should have the opportunity to play games. Exclusives are exclusives, but third parties should be everywhere. They're called third party for a reason. Let me know what you think in the comment section below. Let's have that discussion, and I'll see you in the next one. Remain legend.